Okay, in this part, we're going to be talking about a little bit about some theory regarding self-directed learning, autonomy, and metacognition. Okay, so to start talking about self-directed learning, it is important to take into account the concept of autonomy. According to Dickinson, autonomy is described as the situation in which the learner is totally responsible for all the decisions concerned with his learning and the implementation of those decisions. Having this clear, self-directed learning is defined by Knowles as the moment when individuals take the initiative in diagnosing their own learning needs, formulating learning goals, identifying resources for learning, choosing and implementing learning strategies, and evaluating learning outcomes. This is taking us directly into metacognition. Okay, but what is metacognition? Let's say many different authors have helped to build a definition of what metacognition has been throughout history. According to Baker and Brown, metacognition is knowledge about cognition and regulation. Flavel defined it as one's knowledge concerning one's own cognitive processes or anything related to them. Metacognition then involves processes like internalization, observation, and use of knowledge. Studies in metacognition have demonstrated that some species, like the rhesus monkeys, apes, and dolphins, can make judgments about their own memories and can monitor their own uncertainty. Basically, it's because metacognition involves an appreciation of what one already knows, a correct apprehension of a learning task, and what knowledge and skills it requires. That's been said by Taylor, who also said that the agility to make correct inferences and be efficiently and reliable learners. It also implies knowledge about cognition. That means to have an individual awareness of strengths, weaknesses, and resources to develop tasks, as well as the identification of specific requirements in a learning situation. Cognition about cognition, in simple words, thinking about thinking, can be evident in situations in which learners are able to approach their learning necessities by identifying their difficulties and planning effective ways to overcome them. This implies to have some certain level of regulation of cognition, which involves three self-regulatory functions. The first one, planning, then we have monitoring, and finally we have revising. Planning is the selection of strategies and the designation of the learner's own resources in a way that the performance gets to be improved. This requires self-questioning and prior knowledge activation. Monitoring, which is essential in metacognition, involves ongoing control of mental processes. According to Shaw, evaluating it's that there's a way to evaluate and to determine if the strategies applied are working and if comprehension is occurring. These processes require observation, self-questioning, and finally the revision or the assessment of the process carried out, involving an appraisal of the final product that can imply the restatement of strategies, restatement of new strategies. But what kind of strategies? Learning strategies, which are, according to Oxford, operations employed by the learner to support acquisition, storage, retrieval, and use of information, which means that these strategies are individual and are also actions to succeed. Metacognitive strategies should be designed according to each learner, identifying his or her needs, and with the goal of coaching students in thinking skills, allowing them to understand and monitor their own learning. These strategies are not coming spontaneously to the learners. They must be taught explicitly. All of these information I have mentioned before about metacognitive strategies and self-directed learning is bringing us some benefits if we are self-directed learners. The first one is that we are going to be more confident. Why? Because we are going to discover the power of our own brain, the power of our discipline, and we are going to be confident in order to face situations and not only learning situations but also personal situations. We as teachers are going to be really confident on what we know, and as learners we are going to be confident on the processes we apply to learn. That's one of the biggest benefits. Then we have empowerment. Empowerment of what? Empowerment through the power of choice and decision making, because as you are being the leader of your process, you are going to be how your choices are being correct. And then you're going to feel the power of being right all the time. Maybe not all the time, of course, there are going to be errors and mistakes, but those are going to give you the power of planning new things and new strategies to succeed. Then we have perseverance. A person involved in self-directed learning is a perseverant person because these people are not gonna be leaving things halfway. They are gonna go through all the way to get to the final goal. And finally, we have actual learning. Why actual learning? Because when we are developing self-directed learning processes, we are not learning or not participating in a class in order to get a grade. What we are doing is getting learning. We are getting better. We are improving day by day. That's why I really think self-directed processes and this kind of learning is the best and the most suitable for our country now that it ends up in the way we are. Thank you so much.